Welcome to day 16 of How to Automate Your Law Firm in 90 Days. I am Shay Jackson, your AI automation specialist. We have discussed Airtable, Make.com, did demos of sample automations, and now we are finally ready to dive into relevant workflow automations for your law firm. First up is client lead forms. I will be breaking up this workflow into two parts. Let's dive in. Let's get started. I am on my scenario dashboard in make.com. And again, for this workflow automation, we will be going over how to set it up for a client lead form. We will be using Google Form and Google Sheets. Now, I am using Google Form, but you could use Jot form, type form, whatever form application you use to capture potential clients' data, you can interchange it with Google Forms. The only reason that I'm using a Google form is because it's free and also it's easy to connect with Google Sheets as well. Okay. Again, this is going to be a two-part series. We'll start it today and then we'll finish it up tomorrow. Just in case you're following along, if you're new, I don't want you to feel overwhelmed, or I want to make the passage as easy as possible. That is what I want to say. So I am on my scenario dashboard, and what I'm going to do is I am going to name my scenario. All right. I'm going to name it client client lead form. Okay. So I know what type of scenario, AKA workflow automation, this is. Before we start our workflow automation, I think it's a good idea to go ahead and have the applications prepared as much as possible that you're going to be using. Okay, so here I have a Google form, and again, you may not use Google form, and that is okay. You can think of type form, jot form, the form you have on your website. Just think of it's just a form, okay? For this demonstration. Don't worry about it being a Google form. Substitute in whatever form as I'm walking through the automation for whatever form you are currently using. So in this form, what I have is the information that I want to capture from my potential client. I have first name, last name. Now, most times I see on websites or on contact forms that it says full name. And I want to explain why I broke it out. Because with automations, most times when you send like an email, you don't say the person's full name. You'll say, like, for instance, hello, Tracy, comma, and then you won't say hello Tracy Davis, because that does seem like it's a machine. And so what we do when we break it up is it allows us to only use the first name or the last name or together, however we want to do it, but we have that flexibility when we separate it as opposed to having a full name. And that is why I have first name and last name, because I can parse it, which we won't discuss in this video. But in parsing, it allows me to, again, put in, as opposed to the full name, I can choose if I want to call the person's first name or if I want to say Mr. or Miss and then have their last name. Scrolling down, I have the email, phone number, and the red star means required, which I think is a good idea. If you don't have that, that is required information. It's something that I think you should think about and potentially implement, because you want to get as much contact information from your potential client as possible. The zip code, it doesn't have a red star. That means it's not required. Not a big thing. What we can do is, as we're going along, and if they decide to use our law firm, that is something that we can get their information, because we'll have their address. The only reason that I have it here in the form is just to have a general idea of where the area that person stays. Okay. I also have the date of injury, and it is required. Let me click off of it so you can see. Here's the red star, and describe injury. Now you notice this is in paragraph form, and let me go up. This is in short answer because we want to, for the described injury, for them to give as much information as possible. So that is it for my client lead form. Now, I want to make sure, clicking over in Google Sheets, that I have the same columns as I do with my Google form, okay? Going back to Google Sheets, first name, last name, email, phone number, zip code, date of injury, describe injury. These two columns aren't in the Google form, and they're not because we will be using this information in the for the video part 2, but right now we want to have that information because we want to know if, one, this is a new lead, and also what date was their initial contact, when did they fill out the form saying that they are interested in our law firm services. Okay, so again, right now for part 1 of the client lead form with Google Sheets, we have our Google form, we have the information that we need from our potential clients, and also we have set up our Google Sheets already. Okay, now let's go back to make.com. The first thing that we're going to do is, and if you're new, if this is your first time watching one of my videos, welcome. I love make.com, and it's an amazing automation platform. I want to make this as easy and beginner friendly as possible. If you kind of get lost, you can go and watch some of my other make.com videos, and be sure to come back and look at this one, because this is a good one for starting workflow automations for your law firm. This purple button is the trigger. It is known as, I call it the party starter. I'm a party starter too. So a party starter, the party don't jump off until the party starter enters the room, right? This is the same thing with the trigger. No automations can start until there is something that triggers the automation. And this is what this purple button is. It's the trigger. So our trigger is, we just said that we are creating a workflow automation for when someone clicks on a form, completes it, that is a link on either our social media platform like LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, or, excuse me, also you can have it on your website as well. That's the trigger. So what I'm going to do is click here on the trigger, and I'm going to type in Google Forms, and you see that there are some apps that are already right here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in Google Form, and what I'm going to do is see all of the information that and options we have for Google Forms. We have search form, create a form. There's so many different ways or triggers you can use to start the party, okay? Now, remember, what we're doing is we want to trigger that when someone completes the form, that is what is going to start our automation. So if we scroll up in all of the automations, not automations, all of the actions that we see, the one we want to start with is watch responses, triggers when a new response is received. That is what we want, okay? So when I click on it, what it'll do is it will show you this information. First, you have to have a connection. And what makes make.com so powerful is you can connect so many applications by using their APIs. And this is what this connection is. So my connection is already set up. Here you see my Google connection is connected to my Gmail account. That is what it shows I have the connection, so I don't have to add one. If this is your first time, what you would have to do is add a connection for your Gmail account. Okay. Now, next it's asking for a form ID, and you see right here in red it has a star 2. It's required, and also limit. Let's start with limit first, which is easy. Instead of it looking for um, 2 responses, I only wanted to look at 1 response at a time. How do I get this form ID? Good question. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my Google form, and I am going to go to where I can, hold on, let me publish it. Okay. So now I'm going to copy the link and I'm going to paste it in a new tab. And here is the Google form in order for anyone to fill out. Okay. And just as a reminder, yes, I'm using Google form, but whatever form you use to gather client leads, think of it the same as Google form. Okay. In order to get the form ID, what I'm going to do is I am going to copy and paste. You see there's a E and then slash. I'm going to copy it from 1F all the way to that last backslash and then where it says view form. Okay. I'm going to take that information and I am going to, let me go back to make.com. I'm going to paste that information in here. Okay. And I'm going to save it. So now what it says is choose where to start. And I'm going to say from now on, save. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this form that I opened up in a new tab, and I'm going to fill out the form. So first name, Queen, last name, Makita, ABC, email is abclawfirm@gmail. Okay. 954-777-9311. If you know, you know. Okay. Zip code, I'm going to leave that blank. Date of my injury, I'm going to say I was injured on January 8th. Okay. And describing injury. I was at work and I slipped. I was at work and I slipped and fell while walking to my station. Okay. And then I'm going to submit it. So now I have submitted my Google form. I'm going to go back to make. Now that I have completed that information, when I run it, I should be able to see a response because it's watching for responses. Okay. So I'm going to click run once. And Shay did something incorrect. Let's see. Requested identity was not found. Okay, I think it might be the ID because it looks different for some reason. But I did. Hold on, let me see. Usually this is where the form ID is. Let me see. Hold on. Okay, let me clear this. And you know what? Let me search it. I don't know. Usually, yes, document title, client lead form. Let me just look for it because there was a way that you could copy and paste, and I'm not sure why it didn't do it. So it found it. I'm going to save it and let me run it again. Ah, there we go. So I'm not sure, but we're gonna move on, okay? I don't want to get stuck because I'll start troubleshooting, okay, on the video. Here we see that the it was successful because I didn't get any errors, and we have all green checks, which we absolutely love. Now let me look at the answers. I'm going to click down, and here you see first name, describe injury, phone number, last name, date of injury, email, everything that is in our Google form. Let's start with first name, and what it should have as I'm clicking down, and all I'm doing, this is JSON, and I'm just drilling down so that you can see the value. Here it says Queen, which is what I've completed, put in my form. And then let's look at describe injury, and we're drilling down. And see, here's the value. I was at work. I slipped and fell while walking to my station. Okay. So we know that it did capture the form that I submitted. And what is um, amazing to me, probably because I love make.com, is no matter how many forms you submit, the it's the it's called a key value pair. Here is the key, and then here is the information. Okay, so here is my key, it's value, it's describe injury, and we went down all the way, and the value is I was at work and slipped and fell while walking to my station. And as opposed to having to type that in every single time, or having to transport the information, you can use automation to do it because it's a repetitive task. Okay, and that's what's good about automations. It helps you with any type of repetitive and redundant tasks you have at your law firm. So now that we know that we have that part, the Google form went through, now what we're going to do is we are going to connect our Google Sheets. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a row. Hold on. Let me make sure. Yes, add a row. And what it's going to do is it's going to add a row every single time a new form is completed. Okay. So the connection again here, I've already connected my Gmail account. And so that information is already pre-populated because I've used it before. If this is your first time, you would have to make that connection. And if you need any assistance or me to just create a video where I'll walk through, leave a comment and I will definitely take care of that and do it for you. Okay. The search method is we're going to search by path. My Drive, and we're going to click so that we can find the spreadsheet that we're looking for. And we are looking for the client lead form. And the sheet name here is the sheet name is just sheet one. And now, of course, when you are in your law firm, it may not be sheet one. You may have the tabs named appropriately to whatever data is on that spreadsheet. But for this demonstration, we're just leaving it as sheet one. Okay. So here's sheet one. Table contains headers. Great. Now, you see, it connected, and what it did was it listed all of the values for our columns. Okay. Here is where it's awesome. I am going to click in to the first box, which is first name, and you see this information popped up. And as I'm hovering over the information, look to the left hand side and you see that the Google Forms is pulsating. That's to show you what application you are getting information from. Okay. What I need to do is I'm going to drill down. It says answers. I'm going to go to first name, text answers, answers, and I want to go to value because anytime someone fills out a form, I want to automatically have the Google Sheets update with the value that they put in the form. And when you drag and drop, that's what it looks like. I'm going to do the same thing, and let me close this up. And I know you may say, Shay, girl, this is a lot of work. Initially, it is, but just think about once you create your automation and we can have it scheduled. We'll talk about scheduling in part two tomorrow. Once you schedule it, it's automatic. So on the front end, yes, the work to set it up and prepare is so worth it because once you have it, it's cake. You'll streamline your processes. Okay. So now I want to get last name, drag that value in, close that. And the reason I'm closing it is because you see there are so many clicks that I'm making. I just want to make sure that I'm putting in the correct value. Next, we have email. So I'm going to drill down to that. I'm going to put in my value, and you can see it says ABC Law Firm at Gmail. So you know we're putting in the correct information, and it gathered that information because we completed and we ran a test for the form submission that we did previously. And that's what makes it, if you're new and you can't remember, that's a great way to know, okay, this is the right information because you see the value that you put in the previous application. We need the phone number. Okay. Close that up. We need the zip code. Oh, so you know what? And it doesn't have, let me see if it gives me the value. No, because you know what? I should have put in a zip code, which is fine. What I'll do in the tomorrow, what I'll do is I'll put that information in, and then I'll map it to make sure that we have what we need because we definitely need that information in case someone does enter in a zip code. I didn't think about it when I was completing the form. So, oh no, that's not right. Okay, hold on. Let me go back. You see how quick it populated. It was populating the date of injury as opposed to in the area of the phone number. Now, here we go. Date of injury is where I am. I'm going to put in the date of injury and also close that up. Do y'all see why I wanted to have two parts? Your brain might feel as big as Texas right now, but it's easy. We only connected two applications. We're easing into the water, okay? And we're going to put describe injury, okay? There. So now that I've done that part, what I'm going to do, close out. What I'm going to do where it says new lead, I'm going to put in false, and I'll explain this tomorrow. False. Okay. Oh, let me go back in. False, false, and I'm going to save it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to run it, and then you'll be able to see that this information for the form that I completed, it's going to populate in Google Sheets. Okay. What I'm going to do is I need to click in here, wrong click. I need to click in here and I'm going to choose where to start because I'm not going to, oh, yes, I am. Yes, I am. I'm going to complete another form because what I want to do is I want to put in that, I want to put in the zip code so that we can map it. Okay, let's do first name. So first name, I'm going to say, I'm going to say James Brown. If you know, you know. J Brown at tests.com. Okay, phone number 987 123 567. Zip code, we're going to put 33050. Date of injury, and we're going to say yesterday. Describe injury. My neighbor's dog bit my daughter. Is he still alive? Is the dog still alive? Bit my daughter on her arm. Okay. Submit. Now, what we're going to do is go back to make.com and we are going to run this scenario. Okay. The bubbles with the 1 means that it was successful. So when I go to the Google Sheets and I just need to, I don't know why they made this part of the header. It's okay. Oh no. Okay, there we go. All right. So you see, did y'all see that automation? That's what I'm talking about. Uh-oh. You see, once I filled out okay, I need to go back. You see how I was so excited. I need to go back and I need to put in the zip code. And you see now it says text answers. It didn't have that before because I didn't put in the zip code. And it's okay that it's not there. What I can do, and I'll run it again just to show you. Okay, we're going to delete this row. We're going to go back to make, and I'm going to right click, choose where to start. So I'm going to choose what form I want to run. And I want to run this one, the one that was at 511. Save. Now I'm going to run it again. Oh, let me save. Oh, here. I'm sorry, guys. You see how it's helping you? Because in my haste, I forgot to save it because I updated the zip code. And it was like, Shay, what do you want to move forward? You haven't saved it yet. Thank you, Meg. My apologies. Now I'm going to run once. Okay, I need to choose where to start. Choose manually. Okay, I want to choose where to start and let me run it. I don't know why it's not letting me do it. Let me go over here. Hmm. Run this module only. Oh. Okay, I need to run it again. Okay, let me fill out the form again. Submit another response. I thought, and let me explain because I'm moving forward. My apologies. I wanted to choose where to start from because I thought that when I did that, it would push the information into Google Sheets. It would run it again, and then it would push that information into Google Sheets, but it didn't. So now I'm going to complete a new form so that I can go ahead and run it again. Okay. Okay, we're going to say Michelle Davis, McDave at gmail.com. Okay. 3. Okay. Zip code. Okay. 55236. Date of entry. We're going to say on Friday. I slipped and fell in a puddle of water at my local grocery store. And I just don't want to put, this is a personal injury law firm, if you haven't guessed yet. We're using them as a use case. At my local grocery store, I just don't want to call a grocery store out. Submit. Okay, now let's run it again. Awesome. We have 2 ones. That means we're awesome. We're going to go back. I still do not know why. The information is there, which is amazing. That means we have success. I just don't know why and I'll work on that tomorrow. Why it's acting as if this row is a part of the header, and it is not. I'll work on that before my video tomorrow. Okay. Did you see how quick and easy that was? So when a potential lead fills out a form, you have your form set up and you have an automation that automatically it populates that information into your CRM, which some people do use Google Sheets. Yes, I will be showing the same type of demonstration with Make.com and Airtable because I am trying to win you over. Okay. And that is it for part 1, client lead forms using Google Sheets. If you have any questions about automations, Make.com, I would be happy to meet with you. There's a link in the description box where you can schedule a free 30-minute consultation with me. I am Shay Jackson. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, hit that notification bell because part 2 will be coming tomorrow. Have a great day.